So you really have to verbal pace that type of question out. See where I put the verbal pauses here, those periods? Those are all verbal pauses. Does this feel like it's what you're looking for to, take that burden off your kids' shoulders so they're not, responsible to have to pay for all those expenses when you pass? So like I said, if you're going to use a question like that, got a verbal pace that I would shorten it down. Does this feel like it's what you're looking for to really take the burden off your kids' shoulders financially when you pass? I said half it down there. Take about half of that out, okay? Now, they're like, yeah, it really does. Okay, but why do you feel like it is? Oh, because of this. Well, the first step is to make sure that we could even get you out, that we can make sure that you're eligible. You can either say eligible. Hopefully I spelled that right. If I didn't, don't get angry, spelling bee Nazis. I'm just in the moment. I'm just throwing it in there. You can say qualified or eligible. Don't say qualified, qualified, qualified 75 times during the conversation, or eligible, eligible, eligible. Just kind of intermingle those. They mean the same thing. I can get that pulled up here. I've got your confirm something. I've got spelling your first name. I've got your street address is 555 Willow Drive there in Savannah, right? Okay, is there a middle initial you want here on the application? So it can be more assumptive with smaller priced items, like a monthly $70 a month for final expense insurance or whatever. I can be more assumptive there. If I'm selling like, solutions that are 150 grand or $1 million or even 30 grand or 20 grand, I'm going to be a little bit more neutral, still a little bit more, still assumptive, but not this assumptive, all right? I can get that pulled up here. I've got your address is blank. Is that right? Okay, and is there a middle initial you want here on the application? Okay, now, move right into the application here if you're doing final expense. Now, like I mentioned, the way they make sure that you're 100% eligible is they pull up your medical record to make sure you haven't got some crazy disease. And this is where you're getting their social in this, where you haven't got some crazy, and this is how they pull up their medical, is actually by their social, right? Because if they don't have their social, then when the family calls in to reclaim the value of the policy, that's how they pull up the policy information, is by the social. So they have to have the social, okay? You got 2 weeks to, so you don't got some crazy disease and you've got a week and a half to live. So everything with your medical records will be tied to like your social. What's your social? Now if they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to give them my social. Well, I mean, if they don't have your social, that's how your children, when you pass away, when they call in, your children will actually need to know your social, because that's how they'll actually pull up your information, is actually by your social, to make sure that they get the funds on time, rather than having to wait a few weeks because they just can't find your information. So that's actually how your children will claim the funds to pay for your funeral, is actually by your social, as well as that's how they pull up your medical record. They don't have another way to do that. Now, there's a few medical questions they ask here as well. We already went through a lot of those. I'm just going to cruise through this, and then we can put in the beneficiaries and do and find out the monthly, how you want to handle that. I would even say the billing. I'd say the monthly, how you want to handle that. Just stop me if you have any questions, and then you're going to go right into this. Okay, we're about halfway through the medical questions here. Then we'll do the monthly and put in the beneficiaries, and we're pretty much all done. Straight into the next medical question. Like I said, this is a little bit different. If you're selling, final expense insurance, life insurance, going to be a little bit different here. Okay, and if we're approved, who do you bank with that you want me to put down for like the monthly bill, the $79 monthly for the coverage? I just wouldn't say billing. I would say the whatever it is, $79 monthly for the coverage, or whatever it is. I just don't like the word billing. I'm not sure who put billing here, so don't put that. Got it. Okay, the system will pull up the routing number here just in a second if you want to log into the app or grab a statement or checkbook so that we can confirm that. So what you'll then do, if you're selling that, is you'll Google the routing number, okay? That's going to pull up the bank and the state in there. Just came up here. Let me know when you're ready. You read off the routing number, and then they confirm and say, okay, and then also right here, I don't even need to go through this with you, but then they'll ask for your account number. What's your account number? And then you're going to read it back to confirm. Okay, now those are a little bit of tweaks if you're selling like life insurance or final expense with commitment questions, and then you're going to go down and get the social and the bank information as well. Okay, now if you want more tweaks, because I can't go through all the different tweaks for that industry, you want to reach out to our account managers and get into like NEPQ Pro, the NAPQ Pro, because that's more industry specific, where we even have training calls that are only for that industry. I just went through like insurance and all the different tweaks. Okay, let's go into another industry, and I'm going to show you that the commitment question structure is very similar to each industry I've already showed you, but I'm going to show you a few of the tweaks. Now in this example, let's say you are a real estate agent, okay, and you're getting them to commit to take the next step, which could be to list their home, or to, possibly use you obviously as an agent to find them a new home, or let's say they were just renting and now they're going to use you as an agent to find them their dream home, whatever it is, okay? Let's say if you're talking to the seller, and let's say that they had their home up for sale a year ago, but about 4 months ago they took it off the market because the agent representative just couldn't sell it, just had bad marketing. And let's say that's the example. Let's say that they told you that they felt the marketing plan that the other agent had was not very good, and now you've put together a new marketing plan for them to represent them as you, the agent now. So I might say, do you feel like this marketing plan we discussed to sell the home would be the answer for it? Do you feel like this plan we discussed to sell the property would be the answer for you? See, I can customize it based off what I'm selling. Remember the generic example I said, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? Now I can actually use that generic example in this industry or any industry, but if I want to, maybe their biggest thing was a marketing plan, I could plug that. Do you feel like this marketing plan to sell the property is the answer for you? Do you feel like this marketing plan to sell the home would be the answer for you? See, I can just verbal pause there. Hold on, why do you feel like it is though? Okay, oh, I like it because of this, because of that. Now, let's say if they're buying, do you feel like this could be the home for you and your family? So let's say you showed them a property, they start talking up. Do you feel like this could be the home for you and your family? That's a kind of a generic version. Let's say if they're like, the home they want has like a half-acre lot. Can't talk today. Half-acre lot. And they just moved out into suburbia. They want to move to suburbia. They live in the city now in like a tiny 3-bedroom apartment. Now they're moving into a 5 or 6 bedroom mega mansion, a house, and they've got a half-acre lot. Do you feel like this lot size would be the answer for you and the kids to be able to have more time together? Or whatever it is, I can customize it, okay? I'm just giving examples. And they're like, yeah, I really do. Hold on, why do you feel like it would though? Now you have to ask that in really a curious tone, because it has to sound authentic. If I just say, why do you feel like it is though? Like a regular weird monotone, it's not going to land. It's going to sound scripted. Okay, let's say if you're at their home and you're trying to get them to list their home with you. Do you feel like we can help you find the home you're looking for? Okay, if you're going to list their home and then they want to buy another home, do you feel like this plan we put together is going to sell the home on time for you? Okay, do you feel like we can help you find the home you're wanting? Okay, same thing, probing question here. I'm just giving you different examples. Okay, if seller here, well, I don't really have anything else to go over with you. It looks like we've covered the basis of what you're looking for to really sell the home. Really, the next step would be, always tell them the next step, is we would have you fill out the listing agreement, and that gives us permission to arrange a photographer to come out to take pictures of your home and then start the listing so that we can actually get this sold quickly around that price point that you're asking. Would that be appropriate? See, I can just customize whatever the next step is. Are you with me on that? Now, if there's a buyer here, okay, well, I don't really have anything else to go over with you. Can't spell here. Hold on, let's see if we can get this here. There we go. J minor, okay. The next step might be to send listings, whatever, all this stuff here. Well, I don't really have anything else to go over with you. It looks like we've covered the basis, can't spell today, basis of what you're looking for in a new home. Really the next step would be is we would have you fill out the basic buyer agreement and start viewing some of the properties you were looking for. Would that help you if I did that? Okay. Now, if I'm having them authorize a buyer agreement, I can just say the basic buyer agreement. Why would I say that? Because it downplays the agreement, where they're not like, let me have my attorney read over this document, and then it takes weeks for them to get back to you. You just downplay it. We just have you fill out the basic buyer agreement and start viewing some of the properties you were looking at. Would that help you if I did that for you? So you always want to minimize this. That way the prospect doesn't give you weird things about a really basic buyer agreement if you're in that space. Okay? And then I'm asking, would that be appropriate at the end? All right.